10 years of marriage, 10 years of being called barren. Then one night, I found a prenatal exam receipt in my husband's coat pocket. The mother wasn't me. It was Lila Monroe, his first love. When I confronted Graham Sanchez, he didn't even bother lying. Lila wanted a child, he said coldly. I was helping her. After everything I'd sacrificed for him, that was all my pain was worth. Years ago, Graham had been paralyzed. I married him when everyone else abandoned him. I spent 5 years studying Chinese medicine, massaging lifeless legs until my hands became permanently damaged. I followed him across countries for surgeries. I rebuilt him piece by piece, and when he finally stood again, he cried in my arms and promised to love me forever. I believed him. What a joke. Now the entire Sanchez family treated Lila like royalty because she carried the air I never could. His mother brought her expensive supplements every day. Graham built an entire amusement park for their unborn child. Online, they looked like the perfect family. Meanwhile, I became the bitter wife ruining their happiness. When I demanded a divorce, Graham frowned like I was being unreasonable. You'll always be Mrs. Sanchez, he said. Lila's child can take care of us in the future. Isn't that enough? Enough? While I spent 10 years suppressing my own dream of motherhood, he gave another woman everything I ever wanted. Then the truth finally slipped out. I love her, Graham snapped during an argument. I begged her to have my child. Those words shattered whatever was left of me. But the worst came later. At Lila's villa, Graham forced me onto my knees and demanded I apologize to his mistress for insulting her unborn baby. When I refused, he slammed my head against the marble floor until blood blurred my vision. And still, he chose her. Always her. I walked out of the room with hollow calm, the divorce papers clutched in my hand. Finding the VIP suite wasn't difficult. Graham sat at Lila's bedside, tenderly holding a glass of water to her lips. I felt nothing, not a flicker of pain, not even grief. I tossed the papers onto the bed. Sign them, Graham. Unless you want your son to spend his life as an illegitimate bastard who can never see the light of day. Before Graham could respond, Lila sprang up and slapped me across the face. Shut your mouth. Who are you calling illegitimate? Her nails dug into my skin. He doesn't hate children, Cecilia. He just couldn't stomach the thought of having them with you. Every time he touched you, he pretended he'd hired a whore. I held her gaze, my expression perfectly still. Then I smiled, slow, cold, razor-edged, and slapped her so hard her head snapped to the side. Fine, I'm a whore. I leaned in close. And you? You crawled into bed with a man I'd already used up. Don't flatter yourself into thinking you're anything special. Lila let out a piercing shriek and crumpled backward onto the bed. Graham's expression twisted with rage. He kicked me to the floor, his voice thundering through the room. My forehead cracked against the nightstand with a sickening thud. Blood poured down my face, warm and relentless. Cecilia, you just won't rest until Lila's dead, will you? Barging into her room to attack her. I tried to speak, but the pain stole my voice. Only a strangled gasp escaped. The onlookers' whispers followed us like flies to rot. That Mrs. Sanchez is absolutely feral, storming into a patient's room to assault her. Well, 10 years married to the Sanchez heir and not a single child to show for it. Now that someone else is pregnant and taking her place, of course she's lost her mind. A nurse arrived and guided me back to my room, her eyes soft with pity. I had barely lain down when a line of police officers filed through the door. Are you Cecilia Harding? The lead officer's voice was clipped, professional. Someone has reported you for assaulting a pregnant woman. You'll need to come with us. I lifted my head, my voice hollow. Was it Graham Sanchez who filed the report? The officer nodded. I swallowed the metallic tang pooling in my throat and forced my trembling body into the squad car.